Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're back with another Geometry Dash video. Today we're going to be ranking extreme demons from worst to best. Currently we're renovating upstairs, so it's been kind of hard to make videos. In the meantime, I've been making like a spreadsheet for this video of all the levels that we're doing, talking about them with all their details for the video. But that's all I can really do at the moment. And I can't get like a new box for like Pokemon unboxings because, well, this is the room that we do it in, and it would be kind of a mess. So I'm sorry guys if I haven't been uploading in a while. It's just been kind of busy with the upstairs. But once we get everything back together, we should be okay. Anyhow guys, let's get into the guidelines first. I'm going to be leaving older extreme demons out of this, so only the 2.1 and 2.2 extreme demons, even though there isn't that many 2.2 extremes on this list. What we're looking for here is decoration, the quality of the level, I guess you could say purpose as well, like if the level has a purpose to exist, theming if it's done correctly, and gameplay I'm gonna leave out except for a few levels, like in a viewing perspective, if like I think the gameplay looks really bad, just by a viewing perspective, because I'm nowhere near good enough to beat any of these levels. Listen, my best on an extreme is Red World with 23, and Red World is barely an extreme demon now. And if you want an actual extreme demon, Cataclysm, which I have a whopping 12% on. Because I'm leaving the older extremes out of the list, I just wanted to go over 5 levels that would have been on here. I have 58 levels on the list currently, but with these other ones, they were Sonic Wave, Aftermath, Cataclysm, Bloodbath, and Yatagarasu. If I had to place these levels on the list, Sonic Wave would have placed around like the mid-40s. It's honestly just, again, it's another 9 circles extreme that doesn't really change too much about it, but it's iconic. Aftermath would have been like the mid-30s. Not as good as Cataclysm, but still pretty important to the game. Cataclysm itself would have probably been around top 15 or 20. And then Bloodbath and Yatagarasu would have been in the top 10. Not only are they still decent in decoration, but with how important they are to the game. So even though these 5 levels aren't on the list, I wanted to mention them because of how important they are to the game. Yes, even Aftermath, because Aftermath is part of the Apocalyptic Trilogy. Anyhow, guys, let's get on to the list. We got 58 levels to look at. Enjoy. Starting off the list at number 58, we have Untitled Unmastered. The fact this level got rated is honestly pretty shocking. I guess it's kind of cool that the level uses under 1,000 objects, but honestly that just hurts the level even more. Now here's the first level I'm talking about gameplay from a viewing perspective. This looks like they took a random medium or hard demon and buffed the ever-loving crap out of it. Apparently it's harder than Plasma Pulse Finale. What's worse is the level's lackluster decoration. It can't even save it from being at least a decent level. I don't think this level needed to be harder than Plasma Pulse Finale. If it was just like an above average hard demon, it probably would have been at least okay to play, but between its lackluster decoration and possibly insufferable gameplay, yeah, it's going to land itself at the bottom. At number 57, we have Minus Try. What was the reason behind this being rated? If you ask me, this looks like a random 1.6 extreme, but remastered to today's standards. Plus, like the last level, it looks insufferable to play. I feel this level was only rated because of its difficulty and nothing else. It was placed at number 9 initially, which was above Limbo, but outside of it being a meme level, it doesn't have a purpose to even be rated. 56. Necromancer. Buffing Necropolis to an extreme that is harder than Yatagarasu sounds like a horrible idea, especially with the type of gameplay it has. Plus the decoration isn't even that good. In terms of the hell theme style, it probably does it the worst. It's so bad at it that it makes the gameplay worse in the process, in the sense that there are some completely blind jumps now, combined with the fact that the level is massively buffed. When people think of the worst hell theme extreme demons, they probably think of something like Arcturus or Crimson Planet, or even Scoop Circles to an extent. But honestly, I think that title goes to Necromancer, because it literally has no purpose, because we already have Necropolix, which is already bad enough. 55. Crimson Planet. One of the worst top 1s in the game's history. In terms of the decoration, it uses the same style as Bloodlust, but with an LDM. Plus, it really doesn't feel like a final boss level because it's barely a minute long, while Bloodlust is almost 3 minutes. This level makes me laugh in the sense that its sole purpose was for it to be top 1, but it could barely hold the spot for a week. And honestly, thank God for that, because I don't think people wanted to see Crimson Planet be on the top spot for like a year. 54. Arcturus. Some might be a little surprised to see this above Crimson Planet, but let me explain. Despite Arcturus being even lazier, I do have to give it some points for having a better atmosphere. The flow of the level really goes with the song. But boiling it down, Arcturus is still just another mediocre hell theme extreme. 53, Succuban Circles. This level would have been higher if it wasn't for two things. First is the decoration in the pre-drop. It could have been a little bit better. But the second thing, which is a little bit larger, it's difficulty. Don't get me wrong, it held the top one spot for a bit, but imagine if the level was completely unnerfed. It could have been number one for a lot longer, and could have rivaled other levels. It's still a top one engraved in the game itself, but it could have been a lot more special and a lot bigger of an achievement if it was completely unnerfed. At least the decoration in the wave part is pretty good. 52, Slaughterhouse. Not the biggest fan of this level, but it's still a pretty decent top one. Like Arcturus, it does have a pretty good atmosphere, and it's not as lazy of a level. At least it's a remake of an old Impossible level that actually feels different from its original counterpart. But the reason it's still lower on the list because on its own, it's just another okay level. 51, Erebus. Another level that is infamously hated. I can see why, but it's not the worst. If there was more balance between the green and black parts, it could have been a lot better. The second half of the level is pretty okay. It's just the first half. I think that's what most people complain about because it's like a blinding green. And this extreme demon was made pretty fast, so that might be the reason why this level was just okay. 50, Unknown. Another level that doesn't really interest me that much, but I do have to give it credit for its unique style and atmosphere. It has that kind of strange feeling to it. I'm not the biggest fan of levels that are under a minute in length, but this one's okay. 49, Stalemate Redux. As implied, this is the Redux version of the classic Insane Demon, Stalemate. Boiling it down, this level seems like it's just like a glow style level, but I do have to give it some points for being treated like Cataclysm and Bloodbath in a sense. Where Bloodbath picks up where Cataclysm ended, Stalemate Redux picks up where Stalemate left. I just think it's cool like the levels are basically connected with each other. 48, EXO. Despite this level looking like a layout, it still manages to have a decent atmosphere. I think it's the song that really adds to it. It just really fits with the emptiness of the level. While it does have a pretty good atmosphere, let's be honest, the level is at best just okay. 47, Nullscapes. Very recently, this level was added to the demon list and was put at number 3. For that reason alone, I decided to add it to the list as another significant extreme. And the level is fine. The decoration is okay, I guess. And I do like the unique take on the gameplay being with tight robot jumps, without being a platformer level of some sorts. Now, this is a sequel to the level Shardscapes, which I like that level a little bit more, but I didn't place it on the list anywhere, so if Nullscapes is 47, I think Shardscapes would probably land somewhere like in the mid-30s. I'm not saying Nullscapes is bad, but again, it kind of just has its own purpose of just being a hard level. But again, I do like the unique take on the gameplay. 46, Osmodius. This is a relatively unknown extreme, but I do like the way the level flows. Kind of taking a similar decoration style to a level like Bloodbath. I don't have too much to say about this level, I just think it's kind of underrated. 45, Fragile. Just a better version of Coretta. Basically has the same style, but the level isn't like 45 seconds, it's somewhere past like the minute mark. So basically, yeah, just a better version of Coretta. If I had to place Coretta on the list, it'd probably be like a flat 50 or something. But in terms of decoration of Fragile and Coretta, their decoration is okay. Like how the dark decoration is contrasted with the light background. It's very striking, despite the decoration being kind of basic. 44, Zodiac. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of this level, I do appreciate it for being a much better top one than Crimson Planet. It may just be another glow style level, but the difficulty of the level is spread out more due to the level being over 3 minutes long. Overall, another solid level. 43, Tidal Wave. I like how divided people are with this level. Some say it's the best top one or one of the best top ones in the game, and some saying it's a disaster. In my opinion, it's another just okay level. It definitely isn't one of the best top ones, but isn't bad. I will give it some credit for being unique, as we never really had a beach-themed top one. Or, to be honest, I can't really recall an extreme demon that uses the beach theme outside of maybe a Fiesta. 42. Kinos. The only way I can describe this level is just a better version of Sucoup in Hell. Being longer than 50 seconds, having better decoration, and a bit more variety with the gameplay. Honestly, this is what Sucoup in Hell should have been, rather than just being like a 50-second challenge level. 41. Trueffet. A top 5 extreme for the time that came out of complete nowhere. Having a theme I can't really describe, but the level itself is pretty energetic and has decent decoration. Similar to Zodiac, however, I'm not a huge fan of this level, but it's nothing bad by any stretch. 40. Tartarus. One of the most iconic extremes in the game, mostly known for it being a Riot level, and its reign lasting 3 years at the top of the demon list. In terms of decoration, it's pretty solid for a level that uses the 1.9 style. Similarly, 39. Acheron. Similar to Tartarus, using the 1.9 style, but with a bit more monochrome coloration. Between this and Tartarus, they are pretty interchangeable, but I think Acheron has the slight edge over Tartarus. 38. Plasma Pulse Finale. This is the 4th and final level of the Plasma Pulse series, and it's definitely the best of the 4. It made a pretty solid top 1, and was also deemed as the hardest timing demon at the time. In terms of decoration, it might be kind of generic, but still looks pretty solid. 37. Sonic Wave Rebirth. This is a decent remake of Sonic Wave, but it could have been considered a masterpiece if it was rated earlier than it was initially. Listen, this level does have some good decoration, but because the original Sonic Wave was eventually verified and rated, it became kind of obsolete. This level's still pretty decent, but it was a little late for it to get an epic feature. 36. The Yandere. I don't have much to say about this level other than it's just pretty solid throughout, having a good theme as well as good decoration. Similarly, 35. The Yangir. I basically have the same opinion about this level. I had to rewatch it again, and yeah, it's pretty similar, just a harder remake of the Yandere, but at least it does have better decoration. 34. Deimos by N-Level. This is basically Phobos, but cleaned up, has better decoration, and is much harder. It's not a bad level by any means, but now we have other versions of Deimos that are a lot better, and aren't just a direct remake. 33. Tunnel of Despair. Despite this level claiming to have some of the most insufferable gameplay, in terms of decoration and its theming, it was executed pretty well. But I do see why about the gameplay, mostly just really hard wave segments. Obviously, if we were talking about gameplay, this level would be near the bottom for sure. 32. Bausha Vortex. A really nice circles level for the time, using a pretty underrated circles effect with a nice shade of purple? Pink? It's one of those two. I guess it's like a magenta or something. In terms of difficulty, this level wasn't anything to sneeze at for the time. It rivaled Artificial Ascent and was pretty close to even levels like Sonic Wave and Yatagarasu. For its time, it topped out at number 4 in the demon list. 31. Keres? I guess it's Keres. Apparently, it's a remake of Erebus. If that's the case, this is actually a pretty solid remake. It's as if you take Erebus and add some assets from like the Golden or something, having a bit of the jungle theme in there as well. And shockingly, it works pretty well. Overall, good improvement over Erebus. 30. Descent into Exile. So here we have another Riot level, and it's a pretty decent monochrome level, taking a similar theme to a level like Firework, being themed around death. It apparently encapsulates the theme of death to a T, because even the initials for the level are literally die. 29. Singularity. Like Osmodeus, I just wanted to add this level to the list because I thought it was pretty underrated, having pretty solid decoration and a pretty nice shade of purple. 28. Kiyuki. A pretty unexpected top 3 for its time, having pretty good decoration and a pretty unique take on the gameplay from a viewing perspective. Apparently, for its difficulty category being somewhere in the top 10, being close to Abyss of Darkness difficulty, it is relatively fun to play if you're up at that skill level. To most, it's a breath of fresh air to have a level that's fun to play in the top 10, unlike most levels that are in the top 10 today. 27. Abyss of Darkness. Alright, hear me out. I know this level is probably one of the most unfun extreme demons to play, but outside of the gameplay, I'll just go over it. Some people say the decoration is mid, and I honestly kind of agree, but it's just the flow of the level that makes it kind of unique. Most extreme demons just kind of abusing 3 or 4 times speed, and this one just has like a few parts where it kind of goes fast, But the slower flow, it's kind of fun to watch, but I'd imagine why it's extremely unfun to play. It's just like filled to the brim with frame perfects and stuff. So despite its mid decoration, I do like the flow of the level. 26, Mayhem. A pretty cool construction theme level that has a little bit of glow in it. Yeah, I really don't have much to say about this level. It's just a shame that this level is kind of forgotten about, because it's still one of the better levels on the Demon list today. 25, Digital Descent. Not quite as good as Artificial Ascent, but still pretty good nonetheless. Still having very nice decoration, and still having some emphasis on the structure and unique kind of style. But Digital Descent has a bit more glow in it, rather than just having all structures. But it still sticks somewhat to Artificial Ascent because of the structures. But again, the added glow might make it better or worse, but I think while it's again not as good as Artificial Ascent, it's still a pretty good level. 24, Cold Sweat. Here's another level I don't have much to say about, other than it's just pretty solid. Did rank pretty high on the Demon list for the time, but I do have to give it points for having a unique style, in the sense that there really isn't a level that does what Cold Sweat does. 23, Spectre. This level actually got rated while I was writing the script, so I kind of just had to slip it in somewhere. But I will admit, this is a really good sequel to Zodiac. Pretty much the same style, but ups the quality, adding a bit more glow to it, and for the hell of it, it's a little bit longer. Literally, this is just a direct upgrade to Zodiac. 22, Black Blizzard. I think this is one of Kermal's better extreme demons, and obviously because it's one of Kermal's extreme demons, it's going to use a pretty unique style. What I really like though is the dual part in the drop. It just is pretty satisfying to watch. Again, don't have much to say about Black Blizzard, but it does have a fighting chance at being Kermal's best extreme demon. 21, Aerial Gleam. A very nice Crystal Circles level. What I like about it is just how intense it is. Not to mention it gets more and more intense as you go on with the level. Not one of my all-time favorite extremes, but still deserves at least a solid rating. What's even more shocking is that this level only uses around 90,000 objects, which is really good for a level that looks like this. 20, Blade of Justice. Even for today's standards, this level is still really solid. It's a real shame that this level was nerfed from its original counterpart, but at least we have Edge of Destiny, which is pretty much the same difficulty. I don't have much to say about Blade of Justice because I wasn't there to experience its legendary presence at the time when it was initially rated, but I will definitely say I can definitely see why people thought of this level as like one of the best. 19, Firework. Also known as the most robbed top 1 in the game because of Slaughterhouse. But honestly, despite that, it has pretty solid decoration and a good use of screen effects, and has a good build-up all the way to the end, especially with the iconic orb ship part. What I really like though is, let's go back to the screen effects for 1 second. It's like a level like Killbot or Requiem where it just flashes random stuff on the screen, but it doesn't completely blind you from the gameplay. That's what I like about this. It has nice screen effects that don't just flash random crap on your screen. It actually has like okay effects, so you can at least see what you're doing. 18, Hateful Reflection. Honestly, a pretty underrated Circles level. Kind of taking Bloodbath and combining it with a bit of Crimson Clutter. And honestly, it works very well when used in tandem. And here's another level that uses like screen effects, kind of like, I guess it's like a virus or something. But again, unlike Killbot, it's not like to a point where, oh, let's flash the screen with so much stuff that you can't see what's in front of you. So like Aerial Gleam, another nice Circles level, but Hateful Reflection, honestly, it kind of just flew under the radar, if you ask me. It's kind of just an underrated level. 17, The Hallucination. A much more recent Circles level than Hateful Reflection, but here's another one that really stands out. So again, just like Aerial Gleam, it definitely stands out compared to most of the 9 Circles extremes today. Not only having a unique Circles effect, but also one that looks great. But this one gets some extra points for not being like a measly 1 minute long Circles level. This level basically being around 2 minutes in length. Pretty nice to see an XL Circles level for once. 16, Natural Disaster. Quite the unexpected moment to see this get rated. Granted, though, it is a remake. I don't know if this is better than the original. The original has more charm to it, I guess, but I will admit, the decoration of the remake is still pretty solid. Kind of similar to how the Golden looks, but a little bit brighter and more emphasis on speed type gameplay. Yes, the Golden has that one speed section, like in the wave part, but it's much more used in Natural Disaster. I guess you could say it's kind of like a Slaughterhouse themed level in terms of like the crazy wave gameplay, but let's be honest, in terms of decoration, it's a lot better than Slaughterhouse. 15, Solar Flare. And here's another 9 Circles Extreme that really stands out. This time, however, we're taking an old medium demon and turning it into a masterpiece. Mostly orange and yellow, but I do like the added blue parts in the little breaks. And again, with like the little constellations. For some reason, the dark blue just really goes well with yellow and orange. Not only does it look very nice, but those little things, they just add some character to the level. 14, Deimos by Its Hybrid. Unlike N-Level's version, this is more of a sequel to Phobos rather than just a remake. What I really like, though, is that the gameplay style and structure are all similar to that of the original Phobos, where the gameplay is similar, has like a similar kind of flow to it. The style is still has like the 1.9 and 2.0 style in there, but bumped up to today's standards. And the structures are very similar to that of Phobos. But just different enough so it's not just like, oh, let's just remake Phobos, but with better decoration. Between this and there's also Skele's version of Deimos, which is kind of its own thing, and it's not rated just yet, but between those two, they are very close. 13, Cosmos. Despite this level being initially branded as a Slaughterhouse-style level because of the gameplay, the decoration is miles better. At first, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but for some reason it grew on me, and I totally get why it's epic featured. People are saying that the update for this level really saved it, and I can definitely see why. Not one of my all-time favorites once again, but definitely deserves to be close to the top 10. 12, Shinigami. I don't have much to say about this level other than it's just a real shame that this level was forgotten about. In the sense that it was supposed to be around like top 30 or so, but then when it was rated, it was already too late and didn't even make the list. The reason I say this is because ever since this level got verified, no one really cares about it anymore. It's honestly kind of sad because this level was one of the most hyped up levels in the game at the time. 11, Avernus. I bet someone is having a rage moment right now that I put this level up here. Listen, I see why this level is hated in terms of its gameplay because of all the fixed hitboxes, and some saying that the decoration is half-assed. But if that's the case, why did I put it at number 11? I'm gonna be honest with you, just like the Golden, it really encapsulates its atmosphere. Being in like a lava cavern or like a cave with pretty calm music, it honestly works very well. In fact, I was so unsure where to place this level, I had to rate each part on a scale of 1 to 10 and then find the average. Honestly, I don't think the decoration is that bad. I do admit it is kind of inconsistent, but there are some parts in there that are actually really good, especially the drop. I do admit if some parts were like better and put up to the standards of the drop, this level could have probably been in the top 10. So despite this level being pretty hated, I still think it has a great atmosphere despite the gameplay being insufferable. So while this level isn't necessarily amazing in any way, I will be honest, it's really overhated. 10, Sonic Wave Infinity. Another level that's also pretty hated. If I had to guess why, it's because it's yet another remake of Sonic Wave. But out of the Sonic Wave remakes, this might be the best one that's rated. Still being a really nice looking level, and what I do like about it is it kind of follows the Bloodbath and Bloodlust kind of structure in the sense that Bloodlust being the ridiculously hard remake of Bloodbath, this is kind of the ridiculously hard remake of Sonic Wave. But it doesn't do the same thing as Bloodlust where it adds like an extension and changes up some of the gameplay. Sonic Wave Infinity is just, yeah, while it has really nice decoration, in terms of gameplay, it's like, take Sonic Wave and just make it harder. So while I like levels that, you know, are like just ridiculously hard remakes, so take like Bloodlust being like the perfect remake of Bloodbath, Sonic Wave Infinity doesn't really do the same thing, but it still does a decent job because at least it has pretty nice decoration. Although I would like if it was like the unnerfed version of Sonic Wave Infinity. But what I do like is at least they added the original version in the form of Legacy Mode, where it's just like the base 9 circles effect. It's a really nice touch. 9, Armageddon. Basically, it's Cataclysm with Orochi style decoration, and honestly, it works very well. Here's another level I just added because I thought it was pretty underrated. And I'll be real with you, Armageddon I found just by randomly searching through YouTube. And I found this one while I was looking at a video of the Yatagarasu by Manix. So I decided, you know what, let's take a look at it. And honestly, I was kind of impressed with it. What I like is that it's not just a remake of Cataclysm, it has completely different gameplay to it. I guess it's inspired off of Cataclysm in the sense that it's the same length, but again, the gameplay is completely different. So boiling it down, Armageddon is just a really underrated extreme. 8. Limbo. While the decoration is really good, the highlight of the level is definitely the execution. The memory gameplay is just mesmerizing from a viewing perspective. What's also cool about this level is that the difficulty really depends if you're good at memory gameplay. While that goes for most levels, like, it depends on your skill set, but in here it really encapsulates it. If you are good at memory, this level might not be as hard as it is, but if you're not so good at memory, this level might be top 10 worthy. The best part for me is definitely the key maze at the end. Not only is it unique, but it was just executed perfectly. And again, it gets huge points because, like with Cold Sweat, there really isn't a level that does what Limbo does, but this is like to an even higher extent. Limbo is one of those cases where it has such good decoration, but somehow the execution is even better. 7. Beta Nor. I probably pronounced that incorrectly, but whatever. This is a very underrated circles level, having an incredible circles effect. Kind of reminds me of the effect from Cosmic Cyclone, but goes even crazier. I don't know if it's better than Cosmic Cyclone in the decoration department. Obviously, it does have higher quality, but to the point now, I kind of think it's too much. But even then, I still think it looks great. It's just, unlike Cosmic Cyclone, Beta Nor is kind of just its own level. But at least, if its purpose is just to be another extreme demon, it's still really good. While I think Cosmic Cyclone might be better, this level is still massively underrated. One more quick thing I wanted to add with this level is that it also kind of reminds me of Aerial Gleam, in the sense where the circles effect gets crazier and crazier. So kind of combining Cosmic Cyclone and Aerial Gleam together. 6. Cytokinesis. Another level where the decoration is good, but the execution is even better. This level is kind of themed about escaping a chemical factory, and it really encapsulates it. Heck, you break out of an incubator at the beginning of the level. If that doesn't encapsulate the theme of escaping a chemical factory, I don't know what does. And yet another level that uses very nice screen effects. One of the parts kind of reminded me of Change of Scene, like the little part where you're inside the Matrix. I just realized that after I watched the level again. 5. Reanimate. What an awesome remake of the classic Medium Demon. Taking the original theme from Reanimation and mixing it with a theme from an insane demon known as Arcane. What I really like about Reanimate, this is a small little thing, because I recently got into playing the classic Medium Demon, they removed the cutscenes. And the reason this is such a big thing is because Reanimation, don't get me wrong, it's a good level, but the cutscenes kind of ruin it because there could have been more gameplay so you can balance out the gameplay in all the parts, but then there's some parts where it feels like a hard demon. In Reanimate, instead of having those cutscenes, there's some easier gameplay to balance it out. What I like is that Reanimate, it doesn't force itself to be like, so it's kind of like a Cataclysm difficulty level or a little bit harder, but it doesn't have to be forced to have gameplay as hard as Bloodbath because we can spread out the gameplay a little bit more evenly. In terms of the decoration, however, it's amazing. But the best part is definitely the last part. After the blood moon or like this crescent moon appears, there's like a big explosion. The decoration from there and onwards is by far the best. There is still one or like a few small cutscenes throughout the level, but they're not like taking up like 30 seconds of the level or even just a small 15 seconds of the level. It's like, what, 5 seconds or so? And again, it's just meant for like a small transition. So while Reanimate on its own is just a really good level, it's an amazing remake of the classic Medium Demon. 4. Edge of Destiny. The perfect remake of Blade of Justice. Not only is it the unnerfed version, they turned it into like a space theme level or encapsulated the space theme even better with some of the best decoration I've ever seen. Every part of the level is great, but the supernova at 60% is honestly the best part for me. 3. Cosmic Cyclone. Between this and Edge of Destiny, I had a very hard time putting one above the other, and honestly, even now they are very interchangeable. Now before I go into this level, the reason Beta Nor is lower than Cosmic Cyclone is because Cosmic Cyclone has a bit more variety and honestly in some parts looks better, where Beta Nor is just basically just go crazy with the wave gameplay. Cosmic Cyclone does have a bit more parts in there as well, and overall the variety of decoration is a bit better. Pulls off the space theme, honestly, even better than Edge of Destiny. In terms of quality, however, maybe not as good as Edge of Destiny, but I just think the space theme is done a lot better. My favorite part of the level is definitely the part with the black hole in the background, and you can see the icons of the AP team members cycling around it. Just little attention to detail like that really makes me like levels like this. What I didn't know about Cosmic Cyclone is that apparently it was a really hyped up extreme demon for the time, and it was eventually verified and rated years later with perfected decoration. Apparently it started out as just the normal 9 circles extreme. 2. The Golden. While the decoration is just good, the atmosphere is just unmatched. So the theme of the level is traversing through a dense jungle to find a golden city, and I'm just gonna say, this level really encapsulates it. Between the style of the level, the shade of green, how tight the gameplay is, it's just perfect. I can't really describe it other than just perfect. Again, the decoration could be a little bit better, but honestly, the dark, gloomy style of it really encapsulates the theme. And I like how there are some parts where there's like a bit of sun rays peeking through the level, and also some of the block designs where it looks like ancient rune stones. So while this level to most is just kind of like, it's pretty good, I just think the theming was done perfectly in this level, and just takes second place to 1 level. And 1, Bloodlust. I have a lot to say about this level, so just hear me out. This is honestly the definitive remake of Bloodbath. Pretty much does everything right when it comes to making a level that is an upgrade to the original. The decoration upgrade, the gameplay being different in some parts compared to Bloodbath, the beginning miniship, the extension to the end of the song, the extension also allowing more difficulty to be spread out a bit better rather than having a crap ton of frame perfects. And also just the sheer impact this level had in the community, even surpassing Bloodbath to an extent. Also, just the fact how much harder this level is compared to Bloodbath. It's not just, oh, a small step up, no. This is 8 categories above Bloodbath on the Demon Ladder. Arguably the best top 1 in the game's history, or at least very high up there. Not only does it extend Bloodbath's legacy, it was arguably the best way to upgrade Bloodbath to a much harder level. Unlike a level like Riots' Demise, where it just adds some glow, makes the level darker, and only buffs the existing gameplay. That's where the extension of Bloodlust comes in clutch. Not only for some unique showpieces, but so the level can be much harder than its predecessor without having to buff the hell out of the already existing gameplay. Plus the extension extends all the way to the end of the song. Just to finish it off, I know some people still praise this as probably their favorite extreme, or at least one of their favorites, and some say it's just relatively mid, but in my opinion, if you were going to upgrade Bloodbath into a much harder extreme, this is the best way they could have done it. Period. And there we have it, guys. My opinion on 58 of the many extreme demons in Geometry Dash. So anyone who's brand new to the channel and want to stick around for more videos, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button. Up next is 900 subscribers. If you guys want to, like or dislike this video. Again, guys, for videos, I don't know when we're going to be back on track. It all depends on how fast we renovate the upstairs, especially with the floors. Again, expect it to take at least a couple of weeks, but I'll try to get at least some like short videos or like smaller updates while we have the chance. One more thing, guys, not that important, but this is actually the next day from when we did the intro, and I was working on the voiceovers last night. It took me about 4 hours to do so. Wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. I only screwed up some of the parts, maybe like a few times. I actually did a test run of this video before without not really a script, but just guidelines for each level. You know what I got accomplished in 2 hours? 4 levels. I did the first 4 levels in 2 hours. That was really bad. I think I did about 25 levels, so about half the list in about 4 hours, so that's a lot better. Alright guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out and have an awesome day.